these are some of the measurements we do. Just I don't think you're be interested too much, but this is aggregate stability, water holding capacity. We do I didn't do that in the field. There's a simple active carbon permanganate kind of procedure. Potentially rise the naturally. This takes a whole week and it's pretty expensive. And then we do bioassay, we do a soil health. One thing we found a really very telling measurement for good quality soil is this what we call aggregate stability. Like this soil, after we expose that soil, put about have artificial rain, and see how much of the soil retain on the sieve and how much will fall through. If a soil has poor aggregate stability, it will melt down actually, if nothing much left on the sieve as you see it. So this is what we have considered poor quality soil, except this one is much higher quality soil. So it's aggregate, don't really melt down, don't fall apart when it rains. Well, anyway, we do look at soil kind of root health or soil quality. We use bean because bean is kind of representative to a lot of things we have here in New York and Northeast as far as root pathogens. And I get to admit, when we started this project, the program work team, we were focused on vegetable production, and bean is a good indicator, at least for most of the crop, not all, obviously. And we raise them you grow them for a few weeks, and then they dig them up. And actually, this could be done on farm. And you look at the root if they're 1 to 3 are good, and of course 7 and over are pretty bad. 9 is dead. But I just want to go. I don't want to take too much time for you, but we probably could ask questions then. But this is the way. If you are interested, there's really a lot of information on this website. We have a website at Cornell, and if you're already interested, there's a lot of information, a lot of photographs, a lot of explanation what this procedure, why we do what we do, how it relate to our soil function. We have this manual, which a lot of people like. You can download free as a one file, or you can download it chapter by chapter if you don't have the capacity. And there's a lot of information there. Now, I think a little bit, if you want to sample, if you have a bed, by unit of production, we like to recommend. If there's a field, few acres, or if there's a bed, whatever you consider 1 unit of the production. And for example, we such as 10 spots, depending on the size, and you get a little bit of soil in each stop, and you mix all the sample together, and then you take about a pint of soil to send to pint to a quart, and the different protocol, depending which one, but that's about a quart would be plenty. Now, the only thing here, if you have a field, we have a lot of New York, you have 2 soil types. So then if you divide, you have 2 samples from each soil type. If you have a poor area, it's nice to have a sample from the poor area. If you're only interested, why is my area, this area is poor? Rather than do the whole field, but the more representative the sample, the better. Just like we do for nutrient analysis, really. Well, this is, we encourage to fill this. We have a submission sample form, and the more information we know about the field, the better, kind of response and the test to give you back. We had funding for the first 2-3 years, and then we did something kind of free, but now it has to pay for itself a little bit. So now these are the different costs. If you need the only basic, that doesn't include the partially mineralizable nitrogen, doesn't include the root health, kind of the measurement, because those are too expensive. That's for only 45. If you want the whole test, those 15 different measurements I showed you, then it'd be 75. And then you could add to it really soluble, if somebody want additional thing, soluble salt, or you want a heavy metal, you could add to it. Well, it's this idea, you could send them to, obviously, this is our lab here now in the Bradfield, and Bob Schindelbeck is the one who receive and process these samples. He's another colleague. But it's nice to put it in the best thing to say, to mail it in a UPS backpacks like that. Now this is what people get back on the report. And actually here is a list of all the measurements we've done. These are actual numbers we get. But these for most people are really not so much valuable because unless you have a lot of knowledge of soil, characters. Like for example here, this is 22% aggregate stability. Well, it's good for sandy soil, but it's poor for heavy soil, clay soil. So unless you know that, it's pretty. So what we do, we rate these according to kind of using the traffic sign signal. If it is red, you better stop. You have to worry about this. It's really need some attention. And the green is fine. And you find most of our chemical are in the green range, the good range, because we haven't done a lot of fertility over time. But usually the red mostly in the physical and the biological. Then we rate them, and you see here, this soil rated about 49 out of 100, so that's not a good score. But there's here, look at this soil here, 74. So this is not bad soil. This is a good soil. This is not so good. But anyway, these score and testing really is not a statement on the management, except identifying what you need to address. So, and I think what we have gathered that people are really submitting something, they like this kind of feedback. I mean, they say it's helpful. And the other thing we do is trying to relate some of these measurements to what kind of practices. We don't make a recommendation. It's guideline what maybe to do. Like if you have if you have high root rot or poor root health, well, the thing you want to do, you want to change your rotation. You want to select more appropriate cover crop just to break the disease cycle and things like that. If you have low aggregate stability, the number shows really poor or red. There's something to consider: reduced tillage, shallow rooted cover crop. Sods are pretty good for that, or manure, compost. But just a little bit about how to manage. What do we have? What are our options to manage soil health? Really, if you think about it, we don't have a heck of a lot. And the same thing. I mean, we have tillage system. We have crop rotation, manure, compost, and cover crop. But if you think about it, there's so many combinations. We could have so many combinations. How many cover crop? Crystal talked about how many cover crop? Just a few of them, right? So if you think about the 12 combinations, what tillage, what rotation, what cover crop, what compost, you have zillion of possibilities. So you could really, if you do have a lot of, kind of management, program or protocol we could put together. And that's really the challenge, really, to come up what fit your operation, what fit your soil type, and so on. I think I don't know, depends how much more time I have to cover. I just want to say, selecting a cover crop, it depends what you have. And she mentioned that I don't like our data we have. If I have time, I'll show you. We conducted a big project on cover crop, soil health, and root health. But if you have fusarium, if you have rhizoctonia, if you have nematode in soil, well, buckwheat is not good. But if you don't have those in the soil, well, buckwheat is a great cover crop. The same thing veg. Veg is a great cover crop. We could talk about, fixed legumes, smaller wheat. Actually, smaller wheat is best in our plot, especially when you combine with lime. But if you have lesion nematode, it is a no-no, because it builds up that nematode more than any other crop that I know. If I have time, I'll show you. So the point is, that's why we need to diagnose and monitor our soil, pest and otherwise. That would depend which cover crop you select. And so there's a lot of cover crop are good for something, but not good for all, but they're not created equal. And that's a challenge, really. But all these, but the main thing is, I think, replenishing organic matter is the best thing you can do. Cover crop is one way to do it. And just again, we're talking in general now. Any production practice, actually, especially cover crop and organic matter addition, they affect all biology of the soil. You can change the biology of the soil by changing your cropping sequence or cover crop or no cover crop. And they really all nematode, actinomycetes, arthropods, bacteria, fungi, and the whole thing community changed by just changing management, especially organic matter. Either the main crop or cover crop. But unfortunately, you also change the bad guy. You could then go with the bad guy, again, the same thing that you do the good guy. And here's some of the problems we have on some of our vegetables. Root nematode on carrots. We have this root rot, fusarium root rot mainly on peas. Rhizoctonia on beets, rhizoctonia on bean and so on. Well, I told you that earlier, and that's my bias really. And that goes the same for your garlic. If you dig your garlic and they have good roots, your soil is good. That doesn't mean the blood nematode. That blood nematode doesn't go to roots, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately. I told you about that. Well, tillage really, I mean, I know you have, some of you have in the small, I don't know how many of you have large production, but tillage make a big difference. And I really think reducing tillage, it does improve our soil a lot. If you don't burn as much organic matter, we increase our water retention, we improve our diversity of our whole microbial community, and improve agri stability. I think in the past we have done too much tillage, really, personally. I've changed my mind. I used to think the other way. We did a lot of work on raised ridges and also I think in the past trying to warm up and dry the soil. But I think I'm coming back to wrong. Look, I learned a lot from my colleague. I think we need to reduce, doesn't mean go no-till, but we have to reduce our tillage. I've been working with our beet growers for all my career. I remember with the pack, I mean, 6-8 passes, they have produced that beautiful, seed bed, but we destroyed our soil really in the process. And I'm glad now that nobody goes more than 2-3 passes, which I hope even we do this. But anyway, I think to me, if I had to guess, I think this zone tillage is the way of the future. I think that has the benefit of a lot of different things. And you could do zone, if there's only ripping without zone building, this is with the zone building. And actually you have this kind of thing, this kind of chisel here to break up compacted layer. And people all have to do kind of a rip 1 inch below that compacted layer. It's fine with a simple rod. If you go on your field, your bed, you can see what that, 8 inches, 9 inches, you have to do one more.